Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Fallen London. Today we're going to be carrying on with the exceptional story, A Deadly Custard. And we are currently about to enter the next round of baking competition. Must be getting on, stretch the legs, wander about. The remaining competitors fall into a hush, each going over their memorized recipes or else rearranging their equipment. They appear preoccupied, as though the baking is but an escape from grander concerns. Occasionally, one glances away from the tents to where the bazaar's spires loom to the south. That tantalizing seam leading into the chamber of soothing is visible. One of the others approach. Perhaps they have been forbidden. Perhaps they are more focused. Still, opportunity calls. So we can either enter the tent. The butlers are absent for a while. What has become of your erstwhile competitor? Or we can remain focused. Whatever advantages you have, none are as sure as study. A recipe in the hand is better than a cake left in the rain. I'll learn fewer of the competition secrets, but I may become a better baker. Ooh, do I want to know the secrets? Or do I want to remain focused? Let's see what's going on. The stranger catches your eye. We're going in. Don't worry, I'll keep an eye out for you if you like. They flick their eyes towards the main tent. For the butlers. They lean in closer, lowering their eyes. I would just ask, if you find anything in there, would you permit me share it? They make no move to enter themselves. They have the decency to look a little ashamed. You move on to where you see the open seam in the tent. Revelation awaits. The tent is empty, aside from a few items laid out around a workbench. There is a small oven and a baking tray. The smell of fresh cakes lingers in the air, along with a faint chemical scent. There are a few globules of queasy blancmange remaining, and a sheaf of discarded notes. These bear fresh ink. Well, let's read the notes. They concern the most recently departed competitor. Perhaps they will shed some light on the purpose of this eccentric contest. She remembers the lady pockets as she was before, serving meals beneath the spires. She observed the lady's tactics, inducing in officials feelings of homesickness and affection for those they never knew. By such means was she able to secure an opening. But this agent got too close. In her ardency, she thought herself different, ate one of the cook's meals in order, thinking herself stout enough to resist. This was her Viennese folly. From her, we have extracted loyalty to a cause, as was expected upon her selection. Notes sent to station. Extracted? Uh-oh. We can either eat the crumbs, or did they know what was taken, or we can share the crumbs. The mysterious stranger had asked, after all. And is it not always polite to share a dessert? Let's share the crumbs. Let's see what happens. They eat the few remaining crumbs. They smile. A rarity. And then their expression stiffens. It is like they have been stricken, eyes unfocused. Memories, they say. They're extracted memories from cake and competitor. What was forgotten is remembered. This one was a spy, and she remembers. I remember. Lady Pockets was a cook, no high-born lady. A player in a game. The woman who left this was looking for her, for something she knew. They come to themselves with the swallow. No more. The rest is silence. I must remember. From beyond, the jovial tones of Beats a Carpet. Stop worrying, Fawsey. Yes, if they compare invites, they'll discover the trap, but they won't. You forget what they are. They do not share information. The stranger hisses at you. Time to leave. We compare our invitations. We gain some trust between strangers. The incessant ringing of a gong by Beats a Carpet, the shouting from Forsyth, the gin bellowing of Lady Pockets. The return of all this clamour indicates a return to hostilities. The baking contest waits for no one. I can just excuse myself. See you guys later. Bye-bye. No. That's actually quite nice, though, for the record. A lot of times I get stuck in these. Let's return to the contest. Best be on with it. Beats a Carpet is beside himself with joy as you filter back into the primary tent. He waits until you are all standing behind your stations, then begins to speak. It is my greatest, highest honour to announce to you the theme of our next challenge, dear bakers. You will be drawing inspiration from the mysterious university dish known as Somerset Mess. Oh dear. A Somerset Mess is said to be a treat made from meringue, although the provosts deny its existence. The official line is that nobody would eat a pie made of meringue and jam of hellworm. The white cloth covering your ingredients has been wriggling and oozing since you walked in. This can't be good. We have two options. We can draw back the cloth. Can you manage to take off the cloth without making the wrong kind of mess? Across the tent, the stranger shakes their head and hefts a pipe. Or we can just thump the cloth with our weapon. Surely, this is the easiest way to make Somerset Mess. Sure. Why not? After a few well-placed and unpleasantly squelchy applications of your makeshift weapon, you are left with a pile of what might pass as jam. Unfortunately, your makeshift weapon snapped in half from the bludgeoning, so your days of miniature hellworm menacing are over. For now. We gained a trust between strangers. The tent around you is filled with the sounds of meringue crumbling, a noise like cliffs eroding. There is also screaming and cursing. Best to focus on your own mess for now. Begin assembly. Judging by the instructions, it is now time to put the mess back together. You make a large pie crust, fill it with meringue, cream and oozing jam, and lay down a top sheet of pastry to hide what you've done. 40 minutes in the oven, and you have a wonderful, flaking, disturbing pie. The tent is now eerily quiet, save for the rustling of worm beaks attempting to penetrate puff pastry, and failing. You didn't kill them before you put them in the pie? Oh my. Let's present our mess. Well, done all you can. Now all that remains is the verdict. You bring your pie over to the judging table and place it down next to the other baker's pies. See a range of results. Some are burnt, some have huge holes in where the worms have escaped, and one has worms still wriggling in the pastry crust. The stranger's pie, you notice, is suspiciously quiet. Lady Pockets makes a single cut. Nothing happens. Steam rises from the crust. Meringue gloops out within. Lady Pockets managed to extract a large slice of worm pie with no problems. Takes a dainty bite with a tiny silver fork. Oh, she sighs. Delightful. flaky, buttery pastry, and such fresh worm meat. Delicately seasoned, too. A real triumph. I'm sure this is just what the Somerset Dons feast on. Truly wonderful, dear. She reaches out and clasps your hand in hers, smiling warmly. Truly wonderful. As she moves onto the next baker, the stranger sidles up to you and whispers in your ear. Hopefully you've learned to trust me from now on. Either you're good at this, or the competition is rigged. Back in the waiting tent, after round 2 is over, the mood is subdued. Another baker, this time the old man, has been found wanting and escorted by the butlers to the chamber of soothing. Your remaining competitors huddle, their eyes keen as though already they see the prize in their grasp. The stranger comes up to you once more, nods in greeting. Speak with the stranger. Their companionship is a rarity among your competitors, and their advice has not been entirely awful. Do they have more for you now? The stranger presses a small glass vial into your hand. The glass is dark, but just translucent enough for you to identify a viscous liquid climbing up the sides of the glass as you tip it this way and that. This is an ingredient that will give you an edge. Use it when you think you need it. Help or sabotage? It's possible he's making me trust him so he can stab me in the back. Examine the vial. What exactly is this liquid? The glass vial has a cork stopper in its neck. You can pull it out, a satisfying thump occurs, and peer inside. It is thick, gloopy, and smells like a birthday party from when you were a child, during which you received a hobby horse from a grandparent you had thought was dead. How can something smell like that? Did you even have a hobby horse? Or a grandparent? You restopper the vial. Interesting. Okay, we can go back into the chamber of soothing if we wish. In for a penny at this point. Let's see what the old man knew. The stranger takes up a post where they can see and warn of approaching butlers. As before, they plead you to let them partake of anything you find within. Okay, there's more notes. A faint chemical smell. There are a few crumbs of Somerset mess. Mercifully sans worm. Remaining, a sheaf of discarded notes. Let's read the notes. They concern the most recently departed competitor. Perhaps they will shed some light on the purpose of this eccentric contest. He recalls the other one, the Vatican's own, who stained his reputation and his office by the cardinal sin. He recalls where the priest and the cook would meet, and how they planned to escape the bazaar. He recalls what they said to each other on the bridge at midnight. He knew because he was there, listening, under the bridge. Stayed his hand, heart touched by the lover's story. This reluctance with the cudgel provides us with squeamishness at a crucial moment. Another triumph for 8. What is 8? Well, it's either 8 or V. I'm going to assume it's the Roman numerals for 8. I guess we'll share the crumbs again. We may as well. The mysterious stranger had asked after all. They eat a few remaining crumbs. They look frightened as their chewing ceases. Their expression glazes over. This old man remembered me. I was a priest, a game player, hunting, searching, pretending. I barely recognize myself. They pause. Then, now, I think I found it, what I was looking for, deep within that place. They shake their head. Nothing more, yet. They must need to take more memories from us, from the others. From beyond, the jovial tones of Beats a Carpet. We've been over this, Fortsy. Medicine goes down better when it doesn't appear as medicine. She knows cakes. She likes cakes. Stranger hisses at you. Time to leave. Return to the contest. The butlers twain come to the waiting tent to gather you up. You and the dwindling number of your competitors, and escort you back to the large marquee. Familiar scene. Work tables, one fewer this time. Implements, ingredients covered by a pristine cloth. The butlers begin their explanations. The round will soon begin. A new set of criteria approach. Let's listen to the introduction. This round, says Forsyth, effect utterly flat. We will be asking you to bake a traitor's sponge. Once a favourite of the Empress, and therefore now treated with little regard. But through our research, we have managed to find several recipes alleged to belong to an ex-palace pastier. Several conflicting recipes, I should say. The Lady Pocket enters from behind the butlers twain. With a little coaxing from Beats a Carpet, she speaks. I should like you to attempt to figure out the true recipe for Traitor's Sponge, she says, and I have provided each of you with what I think may be a key ingredient. Ta-ta for now, and best of luck. In front of you, once more, is a sheet-covered ingredient pile. The usual: flour, eggs, milk, butter, and a small, ornate silver box. Inside is a fine, grey-brown powder. This must be a traitor? Uh-oh. The little vial is weighing heavily in your pocket. What will you do? You can either use the vial. Surely now is the time to use the stranger's mysterious ingredient. Use the vial on somebody else. One of your rivals has their back turned. You could use the vial on them. The stranger never specified how to use it, or I can hold on to the vial. Perhaps you don't need the help of a mysterious unlabeled liquid, or perhaps you believe you should save it for later. I'm going to save it. There may be a greater need later on, or maybe you just won't use it at all. You add the ingredients, including the powdered traitor, to a bowl, whisk and bake. Your cake, unmodified as it is judged to be merely adequate and placed in the middle of the remaining bakers. But the middle is not the bottom. This round ends with the elimination of another rival, the man with the tremendous mustache. The butlers grab him by the arms and escort him forcefully out. The aftermath of a cake? Well, here you are. You've made it through 3 of the 5 rounds. The atmosphere in the break tent is somewhat subdued. People stagger to chairs and sit down. The deviless looks like a thundercloud, having barely scraped through the last round. A little rest and relaxation seems exactly what the doctor, if not Lady Pockets, has ordered. Let's rest. The rounds will most likely get more stressful from here. This might be your only time to stop and rest. You? Uh-oh. A moment to yourself is your last. Stretch your legs, shake out the cake dust from your sleeves, lean back, close your eyes, find a moment in eternity. The deviless is in your face, flanked by the butlers twain, both looking very sheepish. She speaks to the butlers first. I am no stranger to creative interpretations of the rule of the game, but if you are offering to recompense for the last debacle, then you cannot permit cheating. There are gasps around the tent. That's an invocation of the word. Yes, cheating. There, I said it. Cheating, cheating, cheating. She is in quite passion. Her finger remains resolutely pointed in your face. How dare she? The Deviless points at you again. It is becoming a tiresome habit of hers. This baker has a cookbook. I've been watching. Consulting it, perusing it, copying it, no doubt. And we had all our notes and papers confiscated. We're not bakers, for goodness sake. I only consented to this charade because we would all be equally disadvantaged. The butlers mumble and stare at each other's shoes, looking thoroughly uncomfortable. But the Deviless will not relent. He making a scene. So we can either protest our innocence. You have received neither favour nor unwarranted fortune. Conceal the cookbook of the judge somewhere about your person. Or we can produce the pocket cookbook. You have received a leg up, regardless of whether you've actually used it or not. I'm going to protest my innocence. I haven't used it. You have never even heard of a cookbook. The very idea is abhorrent, alien, impossible, and inconceivable. You carry on this vein for a while. Nevertheless gives you several slow blinks. You should search them anyway, she says. If they protest, I have implements. The butlers are quick to intercede. A baker's word is their bond. What would the world be coming to if a baker put aside their professional honour for the sake of a mere trifle? Peter Carpet slips you a wink. Remember, says Forsyth to your assailant, if this works, there'll be the matter of compensation, claiming that which you failed to claim before. The Nevertheless calculates, then nods. All right, she says, but I have my eye on you all. And we're back here again. Let's enter the tent again, I guess. The butlers are absent. The stranger takes up a post. There are a few crumbs of greyish traitor's sponge remaining, and a sheaf of discarded notes. Let's read the notes. This agent remembers the nadir of spelunking those irigo-soaked vaults in search of his quarry. He forgot and remembered, and forgot. Not even the lapidary, with her unique ocular device, could restore all that was lost in search of them. Still, it meant he was well acquainted with our method. He did not protest. It was admirable, almost. His attempts to make off with his opponent's tools give us covetousness for a possession long forgotten. We have placed a bouquet in the next dirigible west. Interesting. And I guess we'll share the crumbs again? They take a bite, and then another, and then another. I can feel the memories of another. They begin to weep. I was so happy, and it was the end, and I was not alone, to win and to lose. I remember those words, but not who spoke them. But I said them too, in the place where everything is forgotten. We gathered our ingredients. The only way to win was to lose everything. They shake their head. Is this why I cannot remember? Did I do this to myself? From beyond, the jovial tones of Peter Carpet. Yes, the priest is squirrelier than anticipated, but all is in hand. Fires will get what it wants. Stop grouching. Time to leave. Return to the contest. Here you are again, back in the white tent. Your fellow competitors are now just two, the stranger and the Deviless. At the front, the two butlers and Lady Pockets survey the crowd. Lady Pockets speaks first. I am afraid my recollection of this one is rather spotty, loves, she says apologetically. All I can remember is that this confection hatched into a moth. Or maybe looked like a moth. A frost moth? Certainly frosting was involved somehow. I'm sure you can all figure it out. Judging from the majority of the ingredients, it's just a regular cake, but as Lady Pockets said, one of your jars this time is full of wriggly little caterpillars. So I can either use the vial, make a caterpillar-free cake. If you've learned anything from the hellworm debacle, it's that live critters really shouldn't go into edible things. We can use the caterpillars. It can't well become a glorious moth if it doesn't start from a caterpillar base. Or we can slip the caterpillars into a competitor's cake. We use the vial. Sure, why not? You uncork the vial with a satisfying noise and pour it onto your own cake batter. It lands with a thick, wet sploop. You pour the batter into a long caterpillar-shaped mould and put it into the oven to bake. When it's done, you take it over to the judging table, and it sits next to three very different looking cakes. One of them even has a jaunty face piped onto the front in icing. The Lady Pockets takes a single dainty bite of your cake and begins to chuckle. Her cheeks grow even rosier as her chuckle becomes a chortle, descending further into full-grown, deep belly laugh. Her pleasure and surprise are startling, but contagious, and soon both butlers are laughing too. Between giggles, the Lady Pockets finishes off your entire cake. Splendid, splendid, she says, smiling. Somehow it tastes exactly like April Fool's Day. My winner of round 4, ladies and gentlemen. The Deviless is dragged off as a loser, and no one seems particularly sorry to see her go. With the butlers temporarily occupied removing the loser from the tent, Lady Pockets is free from her hovering chaperones. She approaches your workbenches in a flurry of kiftan and lace, an absent smile upon her face. Oh, well done, you two. She offers a hand, just limp enough that you can't be certain whether you're supposed to shake it or kiss it. Well, you're supposed to kiss it when it's a lady. It is what one does when faced with a lady. Go for it. You press your mouth to the back of her hand, and she gives a little "oh" of surprise. Her hands are rough and calloused. There are little scars over her fingers. Hardly the hands of a lady. More like a ship's cook or hobbyist whittler. When you look back up at her, her brow is furrowed, and she is pestered by a half-forgotten scrap of memory. She holds her hand out to the stranger in turn. Congratulations! I am so looking forward to the final. The words feel rehearsed and rote, but as she meets the stranger's eyes, this is as close as they have been to each other all competition. Some of her habitual foggy distance hears. I say, you look awfully familiar. We can either let the stranger respond. The stranger has scraped enough together from the crumbs of your competitors to be certain that they knew each other once, even if neither can quite recall it. We can deny their connection. As mysterious as this competition is, you know more about this pair's history than even they might. Giving up information would lose you this advantage. Or we can affirm that they do in fact know each other. Even if neither of them can remember it, their prior affections are clear from the memories of your rivals. Let's let the stranger respond. The stranger's facial expression is pained, half confusion and half yearning. They hold Lady Pocket's hand for slightly too long without committing to either kiss or shake, and at first only manage a small croak. Then, finally, they collect themselves. I think we'd... At precisely this moment, the butlers twain reappear through a tent flap, all hustle and bustle. Forsyth swoops to Lady Pocket's side, while Beats a Carpet descends upon the two of you like a raptor in a waistcoat. Break time! Beams Breaks a Carpet, shooing you out of the competition tent and back into the waiting room. Best up, my cupcakes, for the final approaches. He winks at you. As the tent flap closes behind you, you just catch sight of Forsyth, arm around Lady Pocket's. Her confused expression has returned. She leans on him in gratitude. He, on the other hand, is staring daggers at the stranger. There's something between those two. Something big. Well, we only have one option. Enter the tent. Strangers standing guard again. And there are some new notes. They concern the most recently departed competitor. She recalls the bargain that was made to secure their exit from the deepest vaults in the spires. She has the soul of the one that facilitated their meeting, who intended to dupe her from her perch in the heart of the bazaar. She knows their treachery and their steadfastness to each other. Priest and cook, fleeing with stolen knowledge. He does not know where they went until now. She cheated in the penultimate round and thus supplies us with treason for personal gain. As she was supplied with souls stolen from the servants of the bazaar, it was an easy currency to let loose in order to secure the return of a greater. I guess we'll share the crumbs? They eat the crumbs whole. Immediately they burst into tears. At the same time, a radiant smile sits upon their face. It's true. They did not lie to me. I was in love, they say over and over. We were in love. A frown creases their brow. But we knew something dangerous, a threat to us both. They shake themselves. It is not finished yet. There's a recipe to this restoration, and you'll play a vital part in it. They sigh. They do not sound happy about it, but they seem incapable of explaining why, even to themselves. So much is gone. I think, before we investigate the side tent, I'm going to end this episode here, and hopefully in the next episode we will come to a conclusion, and we will see exactly what's going on here. So thank you all very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, let me know what you think. Your comments are greatly appreciated. Did you cheat or anything else? Let me know in the comments down below if you did anything different. I always find it fascinating. And thank you again to the members of the channel and the coffee supporters. It really does mean the world to me. And as always, I'll see you next time.